A friend of mine was asking me this the other day about what it is that happens when we are experiencing ourselves in flow and things are going well and we're managing, we're excited about the way we're doing our life, and we seem to just be getting it in the sweet spot, and we can't walk around feeling proud about who we are and that we're managing and we're doing well. So we're filled with praise and approval of self. And then suddenly we seem to go off. What is happening when we go out of these smooth passages of our lives is that we are starting to experience ourselves in a different way. So for a while we are in a place and we are feeling the energy of that place, and we've adjusted and assimilated well into that energy space. And so it looks as if we are managing well, and we are. We're looking good and we are in the flow with what is coming in and out, and things are going well. But then what is required of us is not to stay in the same place, because if we don't move and we don't flow, then we're not evolving and we're not elevating our energy and we're not moving, and we certainly aren't growing. So what we really want to do is we want to be able to experience the static, little bit of the static, so that we can expand. And this contrast that is coming in is an indicator that we are getting ready to expand into another energy space, to hold our energy and our presence of our being in a higher frequency. So let me give you an idea of how I perceive that with a radio. So I'm going to turn up the volume a little. So imagine here that we're on the station, and now we're not. We're kind of in static. Very irritating. But we can stay there if we want to and pick up this distortion, or we can go back to the station where it was happening. Or we can go all the way out of it and we can come into a new station. Is where we're tuning in to different frequencies, which is giving us an opportunity to have the experience of that bandwidth, of that energy layer. So if we were to imagine that this one station that we're listening to has a certain bandwidth, and we tune our dial and we're listening to this bandwidth, and it's making sense and it's clear and we understand it and there's no distortion and things are going okay. But the moment we want to shift out of this bandwidth into a higher bandwidth, we need to turn our awareness and we need to tweak it and dial into a higher frequency. And the moment we begin to do that, we have to cross over a middle zone. This middle zone is when it's no longer this, but it certainly isn't that yet. So there's this little no man's land right between. And we need to cross over that. And that's where we get the and the static and the distortion happening, so that we can shift beyond it and we can come into a different frequency and experience that bandwidth, that elevated energy. And we are doing this all the time. We are shifting, we are evolving, we are elevating our energy. And this is part of the growth of us as a human being. And we are learning enormous amounts of information while we are doing these shifts through these different bandwidths. And the contrast is giving us a very clear indication of what it is that we can choose. What would we choose now if we knew that this distortion, this discomfort, is only holding itself in this place so that I can choose something else? Now, this is where we need to decide about the choosing. We are in the bandwidth, it's comfortable to the ears, we can hear it, and it's clear. We enter into a shift and the static comes in. If we are not happy to shift, if we're not happy to go through that static and step into a possible different space, something that we don't know, a new radio station, then we can choose to just come back down into this bandwidth and have this experience again. But if we stay here, there's no movement and there's no growth. And truly, this journey is a life journey. It's a journey which is movement from here to there and where else and wherever it is taking us. So in the movement, in the transition, we have a choice. We have a choice to either stay in the same place and do more of the same stuff, or we can allow ourselves to experience a little static, a little discordant energy, feel the contrast, and decide that it's okay for us to move through contrast, which gives us the opportunity to choose again, to make a different choice. What would we choose if we choose to go away from our survival energy and we decided we could shift into thriving energy? I would be prepared to put up with a little static, which is everywhere around us, so that we can decide in that static how much of that stuff we would embrace in this higher frequency, and what it is and how valuable it is to us to be in a different bandwidth, a different energy space. Nice things to think about. And I send you so much love as you make clear choices and enjoy a little bit of the discomfort of the static, and then choose and choose well. So much love.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see.